Here's this kind of interesting. It's related because Tony Bellew, who I don't even know. Bellew. I don't know, dude.
I know. It's a stupid name.
But he called you out, kind of.
Bellew.
He's a boxer, heavyweight boxer from England, and he said something along the lines of, if I'd get into the cage with a puncher in the UFC, Michael Bisping is a guy who is predominantly known as a puncher, and he's a very strong wrestler as well. I think I can get down to 185 pounds if the money was right. I'm a Michael Bisping fan, but if the money was right, the fan stuff goes out the window. So he said he'd be interested in coming to the UFC, possibly, and even fighting you. Is that something that you would entertain?
Well, first of all, Tony Bellew had a great fight recently against David Haye. And, I thoroughly enjoyed the fight. So, I'll say it with respect. But I don't really want to fight him in the UFC. I don't see that as a challenge. I mean, a guy that stands there and says, I've got pretty good kicks and this and that, blah, 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 blah. You're a boxer. You don't know jack shit about MMA. And just because you took a couple of taekwondo sessions here and there doesn't mean you can do it inside the UFC. I would take him down and tap him out in a heartbeat. It would be fast, simple as that. He's got no takedown defense, and of course he's a boxer, so I'll just take him down and submit him. People will probably sit there and say, "Hold on, that's not your style, Mike." But believe you me, I know how to do a takedown, and against a boxer, that would be the game plan. For me to fight Tony Bellew, and of course it sounds like now I'm trying to copy Conor McGregor, but he's the one that called me out. Remember, he's the one that did an interview with Sky Sports. It's all over the internet today. Well, it's all over my Facebook feed anyway because people keep tagging me. I'd love to fight him in a boxing match. I'd like to challenge myself. Listen, he's a great boxer, and he had a fantastic fight against David Haye, as I said. And, I think I could stand there and go toe-to-toe with that guy and beat him at his own game. Of course, in the UFC, if he wants to do that, we can do that as well. But, I guess I am jumping on the boxing MMA bandwagon. Yeah. But he was the guy that called me out, and I'm just saying, let me fight GSP, Madison Square Garden, November 4th. And then I'll take on Tony Bellew in a boxing fight if he wants to do that.
Would you take off time from the UFC because you would literally be murdered by UFC fans? Like you would have to get a.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if I beat GSP and then instead of fighting Robert Whittaker went and did a boxing match?
Holy shit! Listen to me. I got to be honest with you. I would jump to the other side. I would say, you know what? Michael Bisping deserves to be stripped.
I almost want to do it just to see the reaction of like Luke Rockhold and Yoel Romero. I almost want to do it. Almost.
Would you? I mean, you're obviously not like serious about that. Would you entertain that after retirement though? Would that be something you would want to do?
Once I've retired from the UFC, which as I say isn't a million miles away. I mean, who knows? There might always be one more fight. As I said, GSP, then Whittaker, and then who knows? Maybe one more, probably not. But yeah, I would. I'd entertain a big money boxing fight against someone like Tony Bellew. Obviously, it wouldn't be anywhere near the level of a McGregor and Mayweather payday, but it could still generate a lot of business. I mean, Bellew's a good name. It'd sell out Goodison Park, which is a football stadium in Liverpool. So maybe once I'm retired from the UFC, yeah.
Listen to me. I'm telling you right now, fuck Bellew. No offense to him. I'm sure he's great. Fuck boxing. Once you retire, the move is to pull the Ronda Rousey and go to the WWE and be the new British. You will crush it. I'm telling you, because I'm right. You start doing steroids, put like 50 pounds of muscle on you. You come out with a fucking British flag draped over your shoulders. You spit on Cuban flags. You have like, are there any Cuban wrestlers, Shannon? Look it up. See if there's any Cuban pro wrestlers that you could have, Cuban pro wrestlers, Shannon, that you could have a beef with. That'd be incredible.
You paint quite the picture, and it sounds very, very good. But I mean, listen, I'll never say never, but the problem is, those wrestlers, they work their asses off and they're on the road constantly all over the world. But listen, never say never. That's all I'll say to that, Lewis, and I appreciate you trying to line up some business. But I've got a lot of things going on, and if the avenues run dry and I'm not the next Jason Statham, then who knows? I might be the next British Bulldog. Yeah,
the British. Is that the last famous British wrestler, I think? Is there any other good ones?
No. Who was the last famous WWE guy?
That was British. Shit.
British Bulldog, right?
That was like 80s and 90s though. There was another guy after that came out that was like Lord Steven Regal. I remember was.
I have no idea who that is.
Go down, Shannon. Let's see. She's pulling up the top 10. Mason Ryan, never heard of him. Go down. Paul Burchill, don't know. Go down. Layla, don't know. Dave Taylor. None of these these are the greatest British wrestlers. I've never heard of any of these people. Drew McIntyre.
I don't know anything about wrestling. And speaking about wrestling and English wrestling, Callum, my son, obviously his wrestling career is doing very, very well. He's gotten to the point now, and if he hears this, again, I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast, because I've already rumbled myself that I get his Christmas presents for free, and now I'm going to embarrass him. But his wrestling is getting really good, and it's to the point now where he pretty much wins every single tournament that he enters. And my dad, being the forward thinker that he is, obviously English wrestling isn't at the level of American wrestling, and we hold British passports. So my dad's already been onto the British Olympic Wrestling Committee.
Ooh.
And said, you've got a kid out here in America who's been trained by Americans, American high school. He's killing it. So they're interested in him. They want my dad to send him some footage and some tape and things like that. So American trained, representing England. You never know. He might be the next guy in the WWE.
That's unfair, actually. I think that he should be taken out of I don't think he should be eligible for the Olympics.
It's perfect. He's going to beat Americans whilst representing England.
He's a traitor. He should actually, to be honest with you, he should be put to death by a firing squad. That's actually against the rules of this country.
Unlucky, buddy. Unlucky.
That's ridiculous. You're cheating.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome is what it is. It's great. My dad, he's hilarious, because he spoke about that a while ago, and I thought, yeah, I kind of laughed it off.
Yeah.
And then and they said, yep. I was on the phone to them yesterday. I'm like, you what? He said, yeah. You know, we're gonna start it early. So yeah.
The British can't wrestle open a bag of potato chips, and you're gonna fucking send him over there. He's gonna be by far the best.
Yeah, for sure he is. He's gonna be by far the best. Listen, no offense to any British wrestlers that are listening, and I'm sure the British wrestlers that are listening could probably beat me in a wrestling match, not a fight, but in a wrestling match. But on the world stage, you know, England's not really known for its wrestling. So here we've got Callum, and he's wrestling in America. He's doing really, really well. He's obsessed with it. He's being trained by, you know, the American program, and he's going to use that to represent Great Britain, the founders of your fantastic country, Lewis, on the world stage, and beat you at your own
game. He
game.
Doesn't even have a British accent.
You know, no, of course he has a British accent.
Does he?
Listen, he's a chameleon. Okay, if he's with his Americans, he speaks American. If he's with me, he speaks English.
Yeah.
It's just like my daughter as well. Sometimes I walk past their bedrooms and hear them on the phone. I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? You know what I mean? I'm like, Jesus Christ, come on, really? That's how you talk? I mean, my daughter's the worst. I mean, she sounds so American, which, of course, you know, I don't have a problem with. I'm joking. But then they come downstairs and they speak to me, and they're back in their English accent, you know. So it's kind of weird. But of course, my young guy Lucas, he's fully American. Of course, we've lived there for 6 years, and he's only 7, so that's all he knows.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Could Callum if you were just to wrestle Callum, could he out wrestle you?
So here's the thing. So we do wrestle, and I like to clinch, and I get the body lock, and I take him down. And obviously, when we do that, most of the time we're in the house. And he says the reason being is because he can't shoot. He can't shoot in the kitchen because he doesn't want to, you know, take me down like that. We were in Maui on the beach recently, and we were wrestling on the beach, and he kept snagging a single leg on me, and he was actually having a lot of success. And he says that if he can shoot, he can take me down all day long. Now, in the ocean, granted, he was having success. But we were in the ocean, which somewhat limits my sprawling ability.
Yeah, that doesn't count in the ocean. I can fucking do backflip kicks in the ocean.
Exactly. He took me down in the ocean. He thinks he's hot shit.
I'm a fucking ninja in the ocean.
The only way you'll go to the Olympics, Callum, is on the British team. So get a grip.
Yeah. Shit.
I'm only kidding. Bloody fast. Oh, it's called a tie clinch. Bah! Bah! Oof! No contact, Callum.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't mean the face, though, right?
Yeah, I didn't knee you in the face.
Yeah, knee you in the body.
Oh, I got it.
Michael, seriously.
Oh. Down he goes.
What?
out.